G'day guys, it's Dr. James Cobb here from Total Balance Chiropractic, and we're going to be talking foam rollers today. I love my foam roller. There's nothing better than getting onto the floor and rolling out, stretching the legs, working through some tension in the hamstrings and the calves and the quads after a few heavy days in the gym. But there's one area of my body that I tend to stay away from with my little mate here. Can you guess what it is? Well, stick around. In a few seconds, we'll be back and I'll let you know. So did you guess? Well, as a chiropractor, it may or may not surprise you that I'm not a massive fan of using foam rollers on the spine itself. Now, I know a lot of people feel like they get a great amount of flexibility and relief from rolling out on a foam roller. But what I thought I'd do is just show you a little bit of footage of what happened to me when I last rolled out. And then when we come back, we can discuss some of the things that we're seeing, and I'll go through my reasons why, when it comes to the spine, I tend to keep the roller off the spine. Okay, so here we go. So I've just been adjusted. I'm feeling in pretty good shape. I'm breathing easily. If we have a look at my posture from the side, I just stand up nice and straight. Let my body relax. You can see it's not going very far forward. Shoulders are staying back. I'm feeling in pretty good position through the chest here. Everything's feeling pretty good. All right, so let's see what happens if I just spend even a few seconds on the roller. So just going to grab my little mate here on the ground. So the first thing I notice here is as I'm standing up, I'm actually feeling a little bit fuzzy-headed. You know, that fuzzy-headed feeling you sort of have after a big massage or yoga session. Second thing is if I stand up straight and tall now, I feel like it takes me a bit more effort to get my body upright. I let my body relax. Now, I don't know what that looks like on the camera, but to me, it feels like my shoulders are rolling forward. I feel looser. I feel more relaxed, but I also feel a fair bit more slumpy, a fair bit less stable. If I take a breath from here, that breath feels like it's got a bit more effort than it did before. Okay, so there are some changes there that some feel good, in that I feel looser and lighter. Some of them not so good. The fuzziness, the slumpiness, the shallowness of the breath. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get Tom to clean me up with another adjustment, and then we're going to come back and have a look at that and have a bit of a discussion around why we're seeing what we're seeing. Okay, so why did we just see what we saw? Well, if we look at the anatomy of the human spine, first of all, one thing that we know is that when we look at the muscle attachments of the human spine, we don't have as many muscles back here that can pull in this direction. So when spinal bones get stuck forward, it's much more difficult for our body to correct that direction of misalignment than almost any other. Now, the other thing is that each of these vertebrae, in order to stay stable, relies on the vertebrae that it's sitting on to create a stable foundation. So in other words, if one vertebrae goes forward, it's going to tend to take everything on top of it with it. So if we have a look at our little diagram here, and pardon my limited artistic skills. So what we've got here is a little diagram of the spine. You can see the first few blocks stacking up nice and neatly. This guy's been tipped a little bit too far forward, and you can see what that's doing with the position of everything above it. So a little misalignment from here is creating a much bigger magnitude of misalignment further up. So if we wanted to fix that ourselves, well, maybe one thing that we could do is lay down on the floor, and we could get a foam roller, and we could place that underneath this spot here, because then we have the effect of gravity pushing down, we have the effect of gravity pushing down. That's going to help to bring that vertebrae back into a more ideal position, and when we do that, that's going to allow the spine to find a much straighter line. However, what would happen if we then rolled the roller into this position where it was actually sitting underneath? Which direction is it going to be pushing that vertebrae? Well, gravity's still pushing down, and because we then have this opposing force from the roller itself, it's actually going to be pushing further forward. So what that would then mean is that if it goes forward, everything on top of it goes forward. As soon as we stand up under gravity, we let our body relax, we see the sort of collapse that we saw in my body after I'd spent some time on the roller. So what would some of the effects of that be? Well, as soon as we stand up, we're already in this unstable position. Our body's not as steady as it was before. Our brain's having a bit of a hard time working out where our body is in space. We're going to feel a little bit fuzzy-headed. Okay. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is that when we let our body relax, we're going to fall more easily into that slumped position. As a result of that, our breathing mechanics are going to be affected because the ribs can no longer move as freely. So that's why we see the fuzzy headedness. That's why we often see the slumpiness. That's why we often see the breathing restriction. And all of these things can coexist in the same body at the same time as that person feeling looser, feeling more relaxed, feeling more flexible, but at the same time, they're actually less stable. So what might be a better option? Well, look, if I'm ever feeling a bit stuck in my thoracic spine, especially in the mid part of my spine, rather than reaching for the foam roller, what I'll tend to do is just go to my old mate, the Swiss ball. Okay, so big round exercise balls. So what that allows us to do is to lay over a curved surface, which still allows gravity to have its effect. We can stretch here and we can stretch here, and we can help bring some of this stuff that's stuck in a forward position back into a better position, but we're doing it over a much broader surface area. So what that means is that no one vertebrae ends up getting pushed any further forward than the others. So we can still get the result that we're looking for, which is a more open, more upright, more flexible body, but without running the risk of pushing things further forward and creating more problems. Now, don't take my word for it. Try this stuff out yourself. So next time, before you jump on the foam roller, do a little bit of self-assessment. Stand in front of a mirror, take a big breath in, breathe out, relax, let your body slump, and notice what you see, notice what you feel. Do the rolling, and then do the same thing again. And what you might notice is that for some people, some of you out there, you may actually feel straighter because the roller is actually helping you fix more things than it's causing. But for those of you who are maybe already starting off with a straighter, more upright posture, the chances of you being able to fix stuff that's still there while not creating new problems is going to be somewhat lower. So try it out for yourself. Try the exercise ball as an option, the Swiss ball. I find that that's a really safe way of stretching that particular part of the spine. And I'd love to hear your comments. So ask any questions you have, put them into the comments below, and we'll be sure to get back to you. So there you go. So hopefully I've been able to share some useful advice on how to more effectively use your foam roller. So until next time, happy rolling.